What up, YouTube? YouTube, yo. Back with the live Vessel Reacts. Today, the great Crown Stone debate. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. All right. All right. I got a couple videos we're going to look at here on stream. One of them as the man himself, BIOHACK, and doesn't get much more knowledgeable than that. As well as we're also gonna watch another video by PANSY. Also, yeah, I feel like a genius because I remembered to turn off something. Yo, those of you who don't know on YouTube, but I managed to pause my sound alerts before my mods demonetized this video on accident too. Let's go. No, thank you so much for hanging out. Please like and subscribe. Let's watch.
Is happening. Prolibus has announced that they are bringing the update to the silver value of CRON stones to North America and the costume price increase. So a little bummed about this, but I figured I would bring it to your attention that it is coming to North America in case you missed the update, and we'll also talk about the changes because they are a little different than what they ended up doing on KR. But yeah, so anyway, they put this post on the website earlier today, just basically talking about you know, that they're making this update. They kind of show this graph here where they talk about the increase in the amount of silver per day that players are earning, and they're using this as a justification to increase the value of the CRON stones from the vendor. Now, of course, as I talked about at length in the
Oh my God, they got a graph.
announced that this change was happening on KR.
They have a graph.
That,
wait.
This is very silly. This is a silly way to look at this.
Let's look at the graph for a second. Hold on. So, silver inflation based on earnings. So this is the amount of silver obtained per year. Okay.
This is the game's catch-up mechanic. Inflation is the way that BDO remains accessible for new players. You make more money per day now than you did 4 years ago. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how people coming into the game now can catch up to the people who've been playing for 7 years, like people like me. So, you know, the fact that they're using this as a justification for the CRON stone price increase makes no sense to me. Because if you don't want silver, if you don't want inflation to happen in the game, then just don't put inflation in the game. Like, they are intentionally designing the game to have inflation in it. They don't need to do that. There is no, like, if they don't want it there, don't put it there. But
all right, so like I have a very good opinion on this, and I think everybody in the video game, in this entire video game, is probably going to agree with me. I was like, we play video games to escape real life. Like, I don't know about you. Boy, missed more. Agent North. I think we all play video games to escape real life. So when we have to run away from the inflation in real life, we play BDO. And when I find out that I can't afford milk and eggs and I'm fucking broke, and because of that I can't pay to win in BDO, I'm already salty because now I can't buy my Book of Combat or whatever. I don't actually pay to win at all. That's why I have a very based opinion on this. But when I hear all that, I can't even afford my value pack, first of all. And then, guess what? CRON stones are now 3 million. Like, why does inflation exist in a video game? Not even like player inflation. In-game inflation. Like,
but the fact of the matter is it's a good thing. We do want it there because it's serving as the catch-up mechanic, like I mentioned.
But they're changing
so
CRON stone price.
For increasing the CRON price is just nonsense, and as far as I'm concerned, it is interesting to actually see what these numbers look like.
They should have just been like, we want more money.
600% more than we were in 2019, which
I would have been more cool with that.
Kind of guess. I think I suggested it was maybe like a 50% increase a year. which would be, it's a little under that, but yeah, no, not too bad. So yeah, anyway, that's their justification. And,
I wonder if they were selling like less costumes.
Okay, so let's dig into the details of what they're actually.
So they had to like make more off the ones they were selling.
They have a breakdown of basically the amount of crons that you're going to get per costume and how much the costumes are going to cost.
Because like, okay, why does it matter if it's an item in a video game? Like how cheap they're selling it to you? I never understood that. Why can't they? Is there not an infinite amount of costumes they can generate?
And they're increasing the amount of costumes or crons you get for a costume by about 60%, and they're increasing the value by about 94%. So this is not as bad as it was on KR. On KR, they changed it from. Well, I guess, okay, so let's talk about what this means. First off, if we look at how much silver you're going to have to pay to get a costume cron in the old method versus the new method, it's about 1.352 million silver per cron stone if you bought costumes before the change. After the change, it's about 1.65. In contrast, in KR, after their update, this is kind of what their number was before. And then they got their next update, which raised it to 2.2 million silver per cron when you get it from the costume. So from a costume perspective, it's not that bad. Honestly, if they had only done this change, I actually would be okay with it, because this is just kind of bringing us in line with where it was at KR. And I think it's fine if vendor crons are 2 million silver, because it makes that gap between vendor and costume lower. So, you know, yes, it's a little bit of a reverse catch-up mechanic, making it harder for new players to catch up, but it brings the servers more in line. Of course, that's not the whole story, because they're also increasing the vendor crons from 2 million to 3 million silver.
That 3 million is so
pretty nuts, because this means that the ratio difference, or like the silver difference between vendor crons and costume crons, is the worst it's ever been in the game. It's now over 1.3 million silver, 1.35 million silver, more expensive to buy a vendor cron than a costume cron. That's flat out the highest it's ever been in the history of the game, in terms of an absolute silver value. Even in terms of a percentage, it's still pretty high. It's not quite double, but it's pretty close to double the vendor.
Yeah, I would just like a special shout out to the BioHack and all the nerds with fucking spreadsheets out there, because I would have never realized that that was a 1.8 million difference for a vendor con. I would have never mathed all that. Like, what? God bless you. I used to be a spreadsheet warrior. It feels like we're trying to play a game.
This is a big bummer for
3 million
people who play on
bad.
EU and other regions where you
Dude, it is bad.
Get costumes. I'm not sure. I didn't check all the other regions to see if they're getting the same numbers. I think a few different regions had their numbers posted, and if I recall correctly, all the ones I saw were exactly the same as this. So those regions, it's going to be rough. But if you don't play on a region where you can't get costumes, it's going to be pretty brutal in terms of how much more it's going to be to get them with vendor crons versus costume crons. So it's a big rip for EU players in particular. I know people are going to complain about that a lot, and it's going to further increase the gap between North America and
think about how many
regions in terms of how
many vendor crons, how much money Le Duck is going to have to spend
in the price of vendor crons or costume crons, but it's a major increase.
So, guy in EU has to buy everything up vendor crons because he can't get
this little spreadsheet here. I'm going to pull it up, that just basically looks at a couple of different items in the game that are very popular to use cron stones on, and some kind of like
I need this.
You might click those on.
This is. I thank God I watched this video. I don't.
Correctly.
You can't see this is Pin Black Star, Trifall, and Tetfall, Ted Debo, Pin Debo.
Price change is going to be. So the first one that comes to the list is Pen Black Star.
This has already happened. It is live, Mr. Moore. Once again, I love your name. EverQuest is like the best game ever. EverQuest 3 announced. Let's go.
If you use a 240 stack on a Pen Black Star, you need about 73,400 cron stones to get one. So in the old system, that was about 99 billion silver worth of cron stones. In the new costume cron,
that's crazy.
120. So the total works out to about 21 point.
So even if you cron gamble, hold on, look. Even if you cron gamble for Pen Black Star, we are gonna do some RVF later. We're watching a couple cron videos, doing a little React video, YouTube content. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Hama? Even if you cron gamble it's still gonna cost you 120 billion on average to get a pin black star if you have a 240 stat. And look at the look on BioHack's face. He is not happy with this.
4 billion. If we look at
Oh
numbers,
God!
which is an increase, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's not even a 20% increase.
But they only cost 130 billion.
Looking at vendor crons, that's where we see a massive difference. So if we use vendor crons in the past,
Dude, yeah, if you vendor cron, oh
goes up
no,
to 220 billion silver to make a pen black star using vendor crons. That's an increase of 73.4 billion, which is pretty huge, especially since you can buy a pen black star on NA right now for like 120 bill. So this is massive. That being said, like, the reality is that you probably just don't want to make a pen black star on EU. If you're being a smart, efficient player, you probably should just buy one. Do not try and craft one. This might be cheaper to raw click. It depends on what the value of tets are than pens and stuff. So it's a little nuanced there, but it might be cheaper to actually raw click than it would be to use vendor crons on EU. But I think you can probably just buy one cheaper than this. But of course, if everyone starts doing that, eventually they'll be sold out, even if they're selling at 200 bill, because just the cron stones alone to make a pen on EU are going to be significantly higher than the 200 bill cap on the market. So that's pretty brutal for those guys. NA, not too bad. I wouldn't expect a major change, but EU and other regions with sold out costumes, it's going to be rough. And now the other thing is because we didn't get the huge change in the cron price that KR got, where it went all the way up to like 2.2 million from the vendor crons, or
holy moly,
costume crons. Costume crons are still significantly cheaper than vendor crons. That's part of like what I was talking about a minute ago with the biggest gap ever, which means we're probably not going to see costumes sit in large quantities like they're seeing in KR, because they're not as inefficient to use costume crons as it was in the past, or as it was on KR. Like, it's still pretty good to use costume crons, and they're only 1.6 mil. So you might see some sitting in the short term, but I wouldn't count on costumes sitting on the long term on EU. Even on NA, they might sit in the short term. I'm sure they'll sit in the short term for a bit, but in the long run, I don't think they'll probably sit. At least unless we get the same ratio that KR has, because they're still significantly cheaper than the costume,
alrighty. So
or than the vendor
everyone
price.
is kind of speechless on this,
because they're lower in price apps overall. They're a little more viable to use on some other things. So, okay, some of the other things we have on the list, we have a Tried Fallen God. If we're using a 200 stack to make that and we're cronning it, we're looking at about 20,000 cron stones, which means an increase of about 5.8 billion silver.
This spreadsheet hurts my feelings,
the duo to the try, using costume crons before and after, using vendor crons.
I almost wish I didn't watch this video.
Which is actually a pretty meaningful amount for the Tribe Falling. Again, it's just these vendor cron increases are pretty brutal. For Tet, it's even worse. If we look at using a 240 stack, it's about 54,000 cron stones. If we use old costume versus new costumes, that's about a 15.7 billion silver increase versus a 54 billion silver increase. So if we're using vendor crons, so you can expect, especially if you're on a region where costumes are difficult to get, that the
exactly with ignorance is bliss, 100% Miss More.
Fallen Gods are going to get a lot more expensive on the market. This is a pretty massive increase for vendor, with again the same story for costumes being minor but not too bad. Debarekas at Tet, these actually don't use a ton of cron stones. I kind of talked about that in the video about making Tet Debarekas.
Dude,
you're curious at exactly,
he's gonna give me an aneurysm. Again, don't worry, chat. We're gonna skip to the rest of this video.
Major step back for all the servers that don't get access.
Got you. So we have two videos that are going into this react. So
increase in the price of costumes is going to create enough sales to make them sit around long term.
A Pansy video I saw. Here we go. So Pansy is for those of you who don't know who Pansy is, he's been a content creator.
2,000, that is the best amount.
Shit.
It's a 0.25%
Hello,
chance.
YouTube.
Not
I'm sorry
even a
about the volume.
Chance. That's how the hell am I supposed to save up? I ain't buying vendor crons. Get out of here. These are digital goods. These are digital. These are pixels. Man.
I like Pansy's videos.
On.
I don't think I'll get through this whole thing.
Next up is the Pearl Shop update of October 11, 2023. Let's go through this. Pay to win to the max. 2023 New Halloween.
This is to give everybody a little bit of background. Pansy is going full-time content creator, so he's playing BDO full-time for the first time. So he gets this. He's really dipping his toes into Black Desert Online, and so his opinion, along with the changes, is going to be interesting to watch, because the further down the rabbit hole you get, the more gear you get, the more you realize you need more CRON stones.
Wonderland, October 18th release, so it hasn't been released yet. So let's see, in the Pearl Box, 1,000 Pearl Box, you get a rare CRON stone bundle and 3 coupons to make you spend more. That is the 10% for apparels,
400% value
for the function, and 20% for mount. I really hope that they did a better job with the sales, but
I do. Yeah.
Let's see the next one. We got a bundle pack.
It's going all over the Pearl shop. So
CRONs to be like 1,500. Buy on 150, 25 on 200. This is better.
No.
These base rate.
No.
And you get a 7-day book.
No.
25 pearls. All right.
Base.
Percent off thing. Like better than you're buying it for the artisan memories. Fine, but it's still, that's not a sale, man. Come on. Where's the 25? Let's see how many.
Are you just going into the Pearl shop, buddy?
Price of previously with
he is.
my ass off.
You know what? Here we go.
One, they had a new expansion with Land of the Morning.
Let's
and
go.
then during the holidays, it always
let him cook.
So
like I said,
let's take a look. Let's take a look, shall we? Let's pull it up. All right.
Now it's cooking.
Here we go, chat. Here we are.
All right.
Look at
oh my goodness.
Don't look at the 22 minutes ago one, this one, because we just came off a.
Yo, thanks for the follow, yo. Welcome to the YouTube video.
Peak, and let's look at how the trend has been going.
Okay.
So let's go for the 1 year. Last year at this time, it's saying it's about the same. It's about the same. And then during the holidays, it always trends up. During the holidays, and then once again in February and March, like events and stuff and balls and stuff, those usually make the player base trend up. Then it really stagnated back to its usual low. And then this summer, we had a massive influx of players. This happened because of multiple factors.
Was that the reworks?
They had a new expansion with Land of the Morning.
And so
they had a really good ball where they gave out a free freaking T9 horse. And that usually brings a lot of players back.
If we could have one of those balls where they just give out stuff and give out stuff like rewards for PvP and just keep making the game better for PvPers, and because that's the end game of BDO, right? If they just would like keep doing that, like he's right. Like look at that summer, dude. Fuck it. We all love BDO. Like they gotta fix the servers first, but that's part of it. That's true. What if they just fix the servers? Okay, if y'all want to just bump that upstairs. Yeah, but what if, you see what I'm saying? Like, what if they fix the servers? That's true.
They really marketed well. You saw those events with like the boss rush and stuff with high profile.
Dude, they do this fucking Amazon
stuff. So, you know, even Asmongold picked up BDO for like a day. Those kind of things really influence the amount of players that
he really did play for a day, chat. Oh my god. Oh wait, I messed up. Where's the graph? I'm so good at this React thing. Holy moly.
Because of multiple factors. One, they had a new expansion with Land of the Morning.
Oh wait, I went right to it.
They had a really good ball where they gave out a free freaking
I am good at this.
horse, and that usually brings a lot of players back. They really marketed well. You saw those events with like the boss rush and stuff with high profile streamers like SFAN.
I love
stuff.
Pansy.
So, you know, even Asmongold picked up BDO for like a day. Those kind of things really influence the amount of players that came in. Also, Lost Ark died.
Great guys,
and
Henry
people
Forge.
were looking for
Lost Ark died.
To BDO. Right. So everything really came together for a massive influx of players. But look at how hard it falls again. Like, I'm the kind of player who wants BDO to be successful. I would like this to be like 100,000 players playing every day. I'd love this for this game to be bigger.
Okay.
But the way they operate in certain aspects of the game, I feel like they're really hurting themselves, especially in like things with the Pearl.
Okay, so let me just explain something. As a guild master, I can explain this phenomenon, and it has more to do with economics and the way real life works than what Pansy is saying in the game at all. Check it out. So every time the seasons change and real life happens, like Christmas, like this, it's October now, it's going to Christmas. Every time real life happens, say you're a guild master, if you've been in one for years, you know that like a bunch of people leave your guild at that time, or like a bunch of people join. There's like a changing of the guard. The entire social system of every game, every online social scene changes at these seasons. So these peaks and valleys at these times basically just mean like, and don't get me wrong, the higher they are, the more successful BDO is. That's correct. But the fact that it's going down doesn't necessarily mean it's a super bad thing. People are going to quit your Black Desert Online is the most difficult, most detailed game. And it takes your whole soul sometimes to just play this game because you gotta go far in. So people naturally quit it. But you know what else? People come back. It's like a cycle, right? And so at Christmas time, new people show up, and there's also another group that leaves. Same thing happens every summer, like literally like summertime. It's a bunch of people leaving to go do summer things. Bunch of people coming back right as other, like, I don't know.
Pearl shop. Like, listen, we're paying real money for that shit. Don't be so stingy.
I think the real life has more to do with it than he's thinking about.
You're not out there actually buying materials like cloth and buttons and sewing together those costumes. These are digital. These are pixels, man.
He is right here, though.
Put the damn sale on.
Preach, King. Preach.
So, like, anyway, the Steam charts shows that we went back to where we were. You know, all of that gain of the community and the player base during the summer, it's gone back to where it was. Now, listen, school started. We're back to business as usual. BDO is a very event-oriented game, whether it's the economy or
see, okay, base, he's on it now.
Event brings players.
He's on it now.
They're like, okay, all right, cool. I had my fun. I go play something else, and that's a very healthy way to go about it. Because right now, with these kind of pay-to-win changes, like it's so freaking hard to get costumes. And let alone in like regions like EU and C and other regions where you rarely can pre-order a costume successfully, they recently made a pay-to-win change, which took out the avenue of, okay, maybe we'll pay a little bit more, but, you know, it'll be more expensive. Instead of 1.3 million silver per CRON stone with the costume, we pay 2 million silver and get it immediately from the vendor without having to wait. But no, we don't have that as an option. And now the sales are also crap, so the influx of costumes have been like terrible. Like, this is stupid, man. Come on, these are digital goods. 25% minimum, 50% off, 33% off, 25% off, but 10% off. What the fuck is that?
Yep. Can we get some plus 800% value costumes that sells for these people, right? And then maybe they'll sell so many they can fix the service. God bless them. Next.
Yo,
okay.
This is stupid. All right, that's my rant. I've been meaning to say that for a while, and I think it's atrocious. Next week better be a good one. Those sales better be blasting. They better be like they better be BOGOs off the charts.
They're 10% discount on the sales.
I did the tutorial and started fishing and cooking for a bit. Typical Russ, man. You went straight into the life skill. I bet you didn't even loot. You probably didn't even kill a man or woman in Lumbridge. You probably didn't do the traditional, all right, let's go attack the first thing I see. You probably thought, all right, how do I start?
I think if they made the sales better, Ms. Moore, that I think they'd actually rake in way more money. I think that the common man doesn't have enough expendable money to go buy a bunch of outfits and be like an actual. It should really be to where I can pull in 5-6 bill for if there's some sort of super sale or something. Let's be real, and it's not like that. So I don't understand. People spend a lot of money, and I just don't understand.
Start life skilling. Oh, all right, Jenko. No worries. Noel's getting that screen flash.
I guess he's done cooking. I guess he's done cooking.
We'll put this on YouTube. YouTube will tell him too. A change in player numbers. I
all right.
guild there. But
All right, yeah, I'm gonna put the links
we'll probably
to.
have to go more in depth into like.
I'll put
why
links
the
to my man
player
Pansy's
numbers
video
increased what
and
it's looking like, after.
BioHack's video in
It's
mine.
mostly recycled content they're bringing out.
Yeah.
Something, they ruined open.
Who would recycle content? I don't know. It's not like we're in a live React video. I'm reacting to a React video. They're on to me. Reactception. Okay. Dude, let's go.
Left already. That is true. If they did that in the
Oh
summer,
my god.
they probably could have retained a lot more. And
Let's
this
go.
change was gonna happen anyway. So
I don't know.
that.
Yo, please
they're
go
probably-
go
they
follow
probably missed the window
BioHack.
there.
Like and subscribe BioHack and Pansy. They both great people. Great people. We love Pansy. We're gonna make sure we like them. Already subscribe. God, I love this guy.
Things I hate
Oh, what's up, Asman?
about
Well, you love to see it. Thank you so much. Final thoughts. My final thought is this. As a free-to-play player, I was really liking the way inflation had affected the game in a way that I could grind and get more than a costume per hour. And I feel like Prolibus caught onto that. They realized that we were making so much silver per hour that the game was actually getting less pay to win. Maybe they weren't making as much money as they were in the past. I'm not sure. But for whatever reason, they gigged us. 3 million a piece. Crown stones from the vendor hurt the most. And then not only that, but I mean, they're just so, everything's oppressive. It's more expensive to buy. It's more expensive to sell. This Miss Bird was saying, but it doesn't make sense to me. Anywho, please like and subscribe. Do me a favor, comment. You're outraged. Maybe you pay to win and you don't mind. I don't know. Let's go. Thank you so much for hanging out. Another one. Vessel Reacts. Let's go, baby.